Okay, let's start with primer actually. I think it's been a while that I have a primer to try in a video, but you know, this one I got for free, so. This is the Unlimited Block Booster Sakura paint. It looks like it's like character-ish thing because it's pink. And supposedly this is the ones that gives you moisture. SPF 50 PA 4 pluses. That is actually pretty high already. It's like a sunscreen level. I'm just afraid that it's gonna make my skin pale because the foundation we're gonna use is a pretty pale shade as well. Every single video recently I have a different hairstyle. I think that's the thing with like shorter hair. 1 centimeter different is a different hairstyle. Let's go with this foundation. I have already previously reviewed this, so if you want to see it in detail you can go to watch that video. So basically I think this is a pretty nice foundation that is medium coverage, like a medium level of glow, and I think this can be suitable for a lot of different skin tone. I like it a lot, so I'm very happy that I got to have a full-size bottle for free. You know, the review program or whatever that is. It's just the shade wasn't my perfect shade. I think my perfect shade from uemura would be 764. It's like a light medium warm olive shade like I always is, and this one is 574. 5 means it's a different undertone if I'm not wrong, and 74 is 1 shade darker than 64. So this shade system of uemura is actually pretty unique and hard to understand. But this shade is not too bad, right? Like it's just, I feel like it's half a shade too light for me, and it could have a little bit more olive tone, which the 764 shades do have, but the whole shade range is made for East Asian people, so there isn't that much of like super pinky tones. I really like high-end Japanese foundation shade range. They are very warm olive skin friendly. On the contrary, if you are a cool tone skin, I think you might want to stay away from Japanese foundation. They are very warm and olive. And apparently this is the best selling shade. That's why this is in the gifting program, because probably they feel like this would suitable for majority of the people. And probably for a gifting program, they are not bothered to give you that much of a choice. I don't think we have any blush to try, like especially the liquid ones. I think I'm just gonna set my face with this thing. I'm just gonna use this wet sponge to apply it. Recently, I rediscovered this trick. Because in the summer, you want to apply more powder, right? Especially for oily skin like me. But more powder means it's more heavy, so I rediscovered this trick. Like I randomly remembered and recalled it one morning. And it's been working very well. I can pack on the amount of powder I want and not looking very heavy. I actually rarely buy eyebrow products right now because I'm very much happy with my uemura one. And this one, I think 2 months later would be my 1-year anniversary with it. And I still haven't needed to sharpen it. And I use it all the time. I think if not 100%, it's like 90% of the time I'm using this and I'm still not having to sharpen it. I think maybe when it is the 1-year anniversary, I would bring this to the counter to have the shop assistant to sharpen it with me. And that might be like a yearly event. But this pencil is the Cezanne Super Slim Eyebrow in the shade 08. Because I want to do like a full face from this brand, Cezanne. It's a very popular and affordable Japanese drugstore brand. So I'm missing some eyebrow products, so why not give this a try, because it's one of those super slim eyebrow pencils and it's affordable. And I feel like a lot of people prefer a super skinny one, even though I don't. Oh, this is definitely a harder formula rather than the waxy, super creamy ones. I actually prefer this type. But the thing is, even though my eyebrow is not the fullest, but it takes up a larger space, like it's not thin. It's just the hair is not thick, the area is pretty wide. So I have a lot of spaces to fill in, and this type, I feel like it just takes me forever. If I just use the uemura one, I would be already done with both sides. I think it's pretty nice, right? The color is also pretty good, but I just feel like if I would use this every day, I would run out of this maybe in 2 weeks. I already have to twist it up for like 2 to 3 times to finish one eyebrow. It's good and I don't mind using it. The color is also pretty nice. The price is affordable. So nothing bad to say about it. It's just, again, not my style. And also I feel like this type of pencil, even it is super affordable, it still ends up being expensive, because this one maybe it's $20, but like I said, I don't even have to sharpen it for a full year. So I think that pencil can easily be with me for like 10 years. And like I said, this thin pencil, it might be $3, but it might only last me 2 weeks. So that means like $6 for a month. For the uemura pencil would be just a way better deal, and also majority of the eyebrow powders, they are the same thing, last you for years. So yeah, eyebrow pencil is just not my thing, but this one is a good one. Eyeshadow, I actually have 3. I think I'm gonna use this snidel one on one side and the other 2 on the other side, which is from Visee and RMK. Let's try. So this snidel one is actually pretty popular in Japan, and if you don't know, snidel is originally a fashion brand. It's a very girly, it's more like a slightly grown up version of girly. So imagine somebody around beginning of their 20s to mid 20s, or maybe a little bit of late 20s type of vibe. I'm not a customer for their clothing items, actually. It's not my style. I feel like if you watch my video for more than like 2 times, you would know like it's just shirts for me all year round. But I do really like their makeup, which is kind of weird because their makeup, the vibe is aligned with their clothing. It's all like very cutesy and girly, but whatever. This one is their eye designer N, which means new, in the shade 01. And I think they just redone this palette. They previously had this 6 shade palette line, but it's in a different packaging, and maybe the formulation is also slightly different. But I tried this formulation at the store and I really loved the glitter. A little bit of a messy swatch, and it's a very soft palette. These satiny looking shades remind me of the SUQQU satiny shades, so they are very soft. And actually, you know what, the glitter actually kind of reminds me of SUQQU as well. So I'm very curious of how they're gonna work. This skin tone shade first to even out my eyelid. They are very soft shade, so don't be aggressive when you're trying to take product on your brush. The shade is pretty soft, so let's just blend this darker shade. I should put air quote on the word dark because it's not at all that dark. Pretty nice. I think this is more of a mid-tone shade in like an overall eyeshadow range. It just happened to be the darkest in this palette. But I think it's pretty nice. It blends well and it's a satiny type of finish. I don't see any harsh lines. And I don't really mind eyeshadow being a little sheer, as long as they have color and it's not patchy. And a touch of this peachy shade at the center, maybe? I guess it lightened the inner part a little bit. The thing is, with this palette, don't expect much variety. This pinky glitter first, it's very shiny. But on the eyes, it's a little bit meh. Right? Like, it's not that intense. I feel like it's just dry. So it doesn't really adhere to your eye that well. Let's try a little bit with this lightest one. Oh, this one a little bit better, I think. I think now I understand the concept a little bit more. This is actually a type of glitter in J Beauty. It means to be dusted all over your eyes as a very light wash rather than like concentrated in one spot. So now it's like a little bit fallout under my eyes as well, because I was probably applying more than I should, because that's just the way I use glitters. This palette is okay for me. It's for a very specific look and there's not that much variety, so I don't think if this is worth the price, because the price is around $40. I think it's 6,600 and including tax. Unless you just really like this concept, I don't think it's worth it. Okay, the other eye. Let's try this one. This is Visee Double Mood Eyes in the shade BR1 Cashmere Mood. This in a period of time was so popular on right now. A softer palette as well. I almost have a feeling this is gonna have more pigmentation than the other one. Don't know if you can see that well, but I feel like even with the swatch you can see this is more color than the other one. So for this one, I'm thinking to go warmer side, because these two are around the same level of depth, but one is warmer and one is cooler. So let's go with this cooler one. This formulation is a little bit more creamy. Means that I feel like they might have some moisture added into this powder formulation. That for me usually means it can be a little bit more pigmented. And I feel like this one is more of like a pearlized finish. It's not like a satin. You know what, maybe I just layer this on top. Oh. This is like a taupey color. And I don't think I have enough dimension from these two. Let me try the darker shade. Oh yeah, I needed the depth from this. I'm gonna mix the warm shade with the darker shade and apply along the upper and lower lash line. I think that's about it, and it's actually a pretty elegant look, right? It's like a neutral toned brown. I'm curious, what does this... Oh, this is a balm. It's a balm. Even though I already swatched it, but it's a slightly shimmery balm. Maybe this should be like the base of the eyes, but I'm gonna layer this one on top. This is supposed to be like a shimmery, glittery tabish thing. This one adheres way better than the other eye. And this one is actually way cheaper. I think it's probably a quarter of the price of the other eyes. And I like this side better, and there's glitter fallout all over this cheek. Yeah, I like this one way more, and I kind of understand the hype a little bit. I don't think this is better than every other eyeshadow quad. It's a great one. And the single shadow I have is the RMK Inifinishade single eyeshadow in the shade 18. Again, it's a single. I haven't purchased the case. I was thinking if I liked this formulation and I decide to buy more, that's when I get a case. For like a single one, I don't really need that. And I'm just gonna layer on top of this because the level of glitteriness doesn't match. And see, this is the type of glitter I like. It almost looks like a dewy-ish of a finish, and it actually adheres to the eye. And this is what I was expecting from the glitter in this palette because it swatches very nicely. But you know, your eyeball is more of a, you know, it's not flat like the back of your hand. So swatching at the store a lot of times doesn't really help that much. This is the Heroin Make Smooth Liquid Eyeliner in the shade, is there a shade? 02. You might have heard their mascara, which is I think one of the most popular Japanese mascara, and it's good. It just smudged on me a little bit. I don't remember, but I don't think I have ever tried their liner. And I kind of running low on some of my eyeliner, so I decided to try. It's pretty affordable. It's like 1,100 yen type-ish thing, maybe around $8 is that? I think so. And it seems like it can go pretty precise. And this is the type of tip I like. I don't like the tip to be super short and thin or super long and thin, because if it's too short and thin, I feel like it doesn't draw a very smooth line because there's not much wiggle you can do with that. So it really depends on the stability of your hands. But when it's too long, it also challenges because you have less control, right? And the reason I don't like a very thin one is you have to spend a lot longer to fill in a wing. So this type is not too short, it's not too long. It's pretty thick at the bottom, but it's very thin at the tip. So it just means you can control how thick you want it to be, right? So if you want to be precise, you just lift it up and be like this, and if you want it to be thick, you just lay it down and be like this. This is the type I like, and this is a brush tip, which I also prefer because the felt one, especially if it's not a good quality, the tip gets wear off, so it just becomes dull after a couple application. Okay, so I basically do my tight lining with liquid liner as well, because that's the only way the eyeliner in my tight line wouldn't smudge for some reason. If I use a gel or anything of that sort, it smudge pretty bad, but the liquid one doesn't. Okay, nice. I like this. This is the type of eyeliner I like. I think eyeliner is very personal, so I can't say, oh, like you would definitely like this one as well, but I like it. Actually, I have other blushes to try, and I don't really have a Japanese brand one, so I'm gonna skip that. And the blush I'm gonna wear is gonna in a different video. It's actually gonna be from Joocyee. I forgot to press recording, but I did layer these two shades as blush on my cheeks, and you can see this glow is totally from that blush, and I think the color is pretty nice. I have some color underneath, but it's pretty cool tone, and you can see there's some warmth here. It's added buy these two as blush on both sides actually. So this might be more of a blush palette for me rather than eyeshadow. So now it's the lips. I have two. One is from Addiction and the other is from SUQQU. It's been a long while since I tried SUQQU lippies because I just don't know what lippy is worth like $40 something to purchase. But this time I bought a matte lipstick, and I also bought, I think this is a lip tint from Addiction. Yeah, it's their lip serum tint in the shade 003 Rose 10. It's a rosy color, but I think it's more warm, like orangey warm, rather than like a true rosy shade. Let's try this one first. I feel like Japanese high-end brand really like to make this shade. Every brand has something like this. It's like a watery gel formulation. Nice, I guess. Not gonna be like my top favorite thing. I feel like for lip tints, especially this type of like a watery tint with some shine on your lips, I like the Korean ones more, like the Pera ones. I think it's pretty great. I don't really think you need to pay a lot more than that, like a roughly around $10 or less can get you a pretty great one from K-Beauty. But this is pretty nice if you don't consider the price. Let me see how much does it tint. A little bit. I guess I'm a 50-50 on this. Once I have it, I'm more than happy to use it because there's nothing wrong with it. But if I don't have it, I think that's also fine. That's how I feel about it. This SUQQU lipstick, this is their Velvet Fit lipstick in the shade 03. They are in this refill system. You can buy the case and the refill separately. It's a rosy shade. That's the only type of shade I wear, I feel like. Like a nudie rosy shade. And it looks so much paler on the lips, right? Like it looks like it's a nude. But on the back of my hand, it doesn't. Color theory, I guess it's nice, but I don't see the $40 value here yet. Maybe I should do you a update at night. I wasn't going to, because normally I do that because I want to test the foundation, but the thing is I already did a review for this, so I wasn't going to do it. But I guess we still do, because I want to see how well these lips wear. You know, where is the $40 come from? It's actually past 11 o'clock, so I think it's probably 7 hours, and I'd be wearing a glass, and I didn't even eat, and the lipstick is gone. Like, I didn't even eat, okay? I probably just lightly drank, so I don't know about the longevity here. Barely nothing. The foundation is pretty nice. Still held pretty nicely. Bit oily, but manageable. I like this foundation. So for the roundup, I don't think I'm gonna repurchase or like purchase the full size of this thing, the Block Booster Protective Moisture Primer in the shade Sakura Pink. I think I'm gonna use this up. It just has a little bit brightening effect, but not a lot of it, so it's like acceptable for me, but I don't find me liking it that much. I think this type of product is just not for me. I just like the sunscreen that with no color whatsoever. And the foundation, I basically stayed the same as I was with my previous review. I really like this. Light and medium coverage with a satiny to glowy, natural glow type of finish. and it has film firmer. I don't know if you can tell, like the wall of the inner side of this bottle is very clean where there is no product. It usually means it has film firmer in it. After the initial review, I wore this a couple times. The only thing I have is when I blend this foundation with other foundations, like I mix it and then apply, I found the foundation is more easily separated. So I think it might be because of this film firmer-ish thing. Maybe mixing with other products just mess with the formula. I'm not quite sure, but that could be it. And it should be, you know, a disappointing point to a product because it wasn't meant to be mixed. So it wasn't a big deal. I could just use it on its own. Eyebrow pencil is fine. It held it nicely, I guess. The thing is, my eyebrow rarely has a problem to fade, so I don't think I can test the lasting thing to this eyebrow, but it is a nice eyebrow product if you like this type of extremely skinny eyebrow pencil. I think you could try this if you can get it affordable. Like if you're coming to Japan, then you can grab a couple maybe. The eyeshadow, actually, you know what? I said I didn't like it that much, you know, this palette, but it was creasing less than the other side. I don't know if you can tell, like all of this creasing, but it's just not happening on this side. So I guess it has its advantage. For now, I don't think I'm a big fan of the powder formulation. I think it's a little too dry, leading all of the glitters to fall like everywhere. It just doesn't stick to the eyelid. Maybe I should apply some glitter glue and stuff, but I am not about life to make my eyeshadow that complicated, even though it's just one more step, but for me it's like a little bit too complicated. A ton of other glitters don't do that even without any base, so I think it just doesn't worth it. This side did crease a little more, so I think it's probably because of the creamy formulation. I don't think it's gonna be a big issue if you have a dry eyelids. I just have extremely oily eyelids, so I think that might be the issue. But I still love the powder formulation, how it looks on the eyes and how blendable it is. It's more of a lighter pigmentation type of formula. It's very typical from Japanese drugstore. If this color story is your thing and you like this type of creamy, almost a cream to powder but not at all a cream, but it just feels kind of like cream to powder type-ish formulation, and this is accessible to you and you can find a shade that you like. I think this is worth trying. And this RMK single eyeshadow, I actually really liked it. Quite the contrary to the snidel one. It's very creamy and very glittery and it adhered to the eyes very well. I can't see any fallout from it. And the eyeliner didn't move, didn't budge. It stayed there pretty well and it didn't smudge under my eye. So that's good. For the lippies, I feel like both of them has a very nice formulation, but I just don't think it's something you got to try, especially the SUQQU one, since it fades pretty quickly without me even eating much. So not very successful of a haul, which is kind of rare consider recently I found a lot of good stuff. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.